So L'Histoire de Soldat was performed for the first time in 1918. Why do we care about it in 2020? Why are we playing it today?
Well, what happened in 1918? The Spanish flu, the other pandemic. And Stravinsky wrote this piece for a small group of players, 7 players and a narrator, because there weren't concerts going on. This was intended to be performed the way you're going to hear it today, like outside for the general public. And it was actually performed in kind of like a horse-drawn wagon, if you will, that was big enough for the musicians to be behind a screen, and there were like dancers and puppets and a lot of different aspects to it. But today we're just going to do the music and the narration, and it's actually a new narration, so we can talk about that as well.
Yeah, I would love to talk more about the new narration. What was the goal behind changing the narration, and what changes will people see that they might not be familiar with?
Also, aren't we doing a good job switching off on the microphone? Yes. So, has anyone heard this piece before? In any version at all? All newbies? Okay. Well, the one over there? Yes, maybe? Okay. So, the original narration tells basically a Faustian story about a soldier who meets this gentleman who turns out to be the devil and sells his soul. And it's kind of about what happens to him. Okay. The story as it stands is very problematic. The original story, there's lots of kind of sexist undertones, and there's a lot of I don't know how you describe it without being too graphic, but there's just some very shady things that happen to the female characters, and it's not very PC, and it's very uncomfortable to read in 2020. And the overall, the music of this piece is incredibly genius and famous, but the story doesn't really match up to the greatness of the music. So Jacqueline, our amazing violinist and playwright now, wrote a new edition of the text, a new version of the story, which is much more centered around the soldier and his struggles after leaving being deployed. So it's not a direct commentary on the military industrial complex and PTSD and all those important issues. It's not directly pointed at that, but I think the overall metaphor in the new version is that the devil is kind of a metaphor for struggles that veterans experience after they leave service, and how sometimes those struggles can unfortunately never be overcome. And it kind of sheds some light on, how although being a veteran and serving our country is a great honor, it all comes at a great cost for those that return. And I know that kind of sounds like a doom and gloom story based on what I'm telling you, but there's a lot of humor and lightheartedness in the music and in the story, and I think that this is a more poignant version of the story than what the original told.
So what are the elements of this piece? What should people really be listening for?
So if you haven't heard this piece, which by the show of hands, very few of you have, you're in for a big treat. It is a wonky piece, okay? If you think about classical music, it usually sounds refined and very polished. It was written for this aristocracy, like you think Mozart, Haydn, Beethoven, those kind of things. The stereotypes. This is very far from that. This is it sounds very much like a village band. Like, there's a very weird group of instruments up here. We've got a violin, a double bass, a clarinet, a bassoon, a trumpet, and a trombone. So you have 2 instruments from each family, 2 strings, 2 woodwinds, 2 brass, and a percussion setup, all right? That's unusual. This has actually become now a standard instrumentation, the L'Histoire du Soldat ensemble. So composers have actually written works to go with this piece, companion pieces. So the sound world, if you want to think it that way, is very unusual that we have these instruments paired together. And it's not really written in a way that sounds like any other music I've heard. I know that's kind of cliche, but even for Stravinsky, this piece is completely unique. Stravinsky had 3 main periods, and this is kind of him transitioning out of his Russian period into his neoclassical period. And one of the hallmarks of Stravinsky's neoclassical period is that he often references other musical styles. So you're going to hear things that sound like Sousa marches. You're going to hear things that sound like tangos, ragtimes, waltzes, other kinds of music. It's going to sound almost like you're listening to like a little village band in some Eastern European country playing like arrangements written by the local, music teacher or something. It's going to sound kind of wonky, but it's all ingeniously crafted. And actually, one of the things to listen for or try to keep your ears on is that the music might sound simple and like rhythmically laid out, like it's all on the beat, like if you could tap your foot to it, but the way Stravinsky writes it, it's all in different meters, and it actually feels very awkward to play. So it actually has this left-footed feeling, almost like everything's a little off and out of place. And I don't know, maybe that's kind of Stravinsky was trying to evoke that sense of how everything in the world was messed up in 1918 because of the pandemic, and it wasn't really like classical music as you normally hear it. It's kind of like off the beaten path, if you will. So if it sounds weird and wonky and out of place, it's probably right. It also could not be right, but if you haven't heard it before, who knows? So it's a really great piece. This is my 8th time performing it, and this is my 10th anniversary. The first time I did it was in 2010 when I was in school. So it's fun to come back to the piece again and again. So yeah.
I think that we can take questions from any of you if you have anything you'd like to ask Kevin.
For sure, just about anything at all. I mean, if you haven't heard the piece, it's probably hard to like wonder what to ask about. But yes, sir.
I think you may have already told us, but who wrote the original story?
The original story was Ramus. I don't know how to pronounce it. Ramus. I think he was a Swiss writer who was actually very famous at the time. I remember learning that. And again, it's not like it's horrible. It's just if you were to read it today, you'd be like, ugh, I don't know about that. And also the old story, it didn't make a lot of logical sense. There was a lot of like, we're suddenly here, and now we're suddenly in a different place. And each number had kind of like a different setting, and there wasn't a clear plot. So we're hoping that this production makes more sense. And our narrator is the incredible Kathleen Kelly, who is teaching over at the College Conservatory of Music in the opera department. And she's been there, I think this is her 2nd year or 3rd year there. I met Kathy at University of Michigan, where I did my master's, and she was teaching there at the time. But Kathy is bringing these characters to life. You're probably going to laugh at least once or twice. I hope more than that. And maybe cry. It is kind of a rough ending. Like, it's kind of a sad ending, but try to think about it in terms of what I mentioned before about like the military industrial complex and like how that affects people. I think that will kind of make it have a little more of a, not necessarily uplifting, but a more meaningful rounding out of the story. Anything else? Yes. Well, I don't know all their last names, so I don't want to get them wrong, but maybe they could introduce themselves. I don't know. I'm going to say no, just for the sake of making it easy. But I think we're going to kind of hang out after the show. So if you want to like come up and introduce yourself to people, you can meet them that way. So, and you had a question, ma'am?
Right. So did you all just come together and rehearse today, or have you been rehearsing online, or how does that work?
Good question. So this piece is really tough to put together. So we've had 4 rehearsals. I came into town Wednesday. We rehearsed Thursday, and then all day Friday. We had 2 rehearsals on Friday, and then we had a morning rehearsal here. So all of the musicians here, except myself, are in the Cincinnati area. I live in Alabama. I work for the Alabama Symphony, but I know Jacqueline through my partner Kurt. They went to IU together. So that's how I got roped into this. I didn't mean it roped into it. I'm excited to be here. It's amazing. But that's how I ended up coming all the way up here. Let's see, Cameron, our percussionist, he's from Columbus, so plays with the Columbus Symphony. So, yeah, all the musicians are amazing. This is by far the most solid group I've done the piece with, so it's going to be fun. I'm just trying to imagine rehearsing this piece online. You can't rehearse online. Is anyone a musician here that's like tried to rehearse online? Yeah, you can't rehearse online because you can't line it up. But I'm just, it's hard enough to line up in person, so I'm just imagining it. It's pretty funny. Awesome. We're gonna have some Bartok duos for you guys. Not really related to the theme, but it is Bartok's Hungarian, kind of ties into the Russian theme, and they have a folksy vibe. These Bartok duos, kind of fiddly vibes, and the fiddle is a main component of the story. So I think it kind of fits in. It's like a little prelude to thinking about the fiddle, and the fiddle is a symbol. So if there aren't any other questions, I'm gonna log off, and we're gonna get ready for the Bartok duos. Oh yes, sir. No, sir. It's a septet. The score is a septet only, and they're all solo parts. There is in the original dance rolls. One of the problematic things is that the soldier goes to the king. There's no king in this story, and is trying to woo the princess. And in order to facilitate this transaction, the king makes the princess do these dances for him. Very kind of gross and like. So there's actually intended to be the dancer to do the princess role, and there has been full theatrical productions where each character is played by someone else. I've done that before in the past, but if they're actors that don't read music, it's almost impossible to do it because they have to be able to time the words exactly with the music. It's like more of like a spoken vocal part, if you will, and you'll hear that with Kathy's part. So I'm very happy with it as it stands. Yes. The original name? Oh, good question. Because of Switzerland, they have 3 languages. In the original version, it was French. But actually, all the scores have French, German, and English for each line written out. So I think it was intended, to be done everywhere. And Stravinsky actually didn't get any royalties for this piece because he left the Russian he left Russia after the revolution, and he was actually exiled from Russia for a long time. Luckily, later his estate republished. Before in the 50s, his estate got with Boosey and Hawkes, the publisher in UK, and now we're actually supposed to rent this piece, we didn't, off the record, but you can rent the score and the parts of Boosey and Hawkes and all of his ballets. You can do that now too. So, yeah. It's weird, all the stuff that you don't think about. I just started talking about publishers, and everyone's probably like, what the heck is he talking about? So anyway, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes in a concert. Like, where does the sheet music come from? Like, it comes from somewhere, right? So anyway, I'm rambling. If there aren't any other questions, I hope you guys enjoy it. It'll be a lot of fun, and thank you for being here. And we couldn't have asked for like a better day. So it's a little windy. We might have some music flying around. We got some paper clips, so should be good. Thank you for being here. I'll see you later.
Thank you, Jacqueline and Sophie, for the Bartok duos. And I just have a few things to say and a few people to thank before all of the musicians come out and we begin The Soldier's Tale. So this is all on behalf of Jacqueline, who is obviously very busy doing violin things. Thank you all for coming. Sue Blaney will be sketching during the concert, and her sketches will be for sale afterwards for a $15 donation. And to donate, you can find QR codes on either side of the stage up here or on the table in here after the show. And then I want to thank Event Enterprises for sound and stage, Walnut Hills High School and John Caligari for percussion equipment, Reveal Concepts and Southgate House Revival, and then Kathleen Kelly for narrating and Kevin Fitzgerald for conducting. And it's wonderful to have all of the musicians together and all of you here, especially in a time when there's not a lot of live music happening anywhere. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Down a hot and dusty track comes a soldier with his pack. spend? Will his journey never end? Marching home, marching on his way. But soon, very soon, he will be home to stay. There once was a soldier named Joe. Joe has been off fighting for a long time, and tomorrow is the day he gets home. The war has taken a terrible toll on his mind and body. He misses home so much that it's all he can do not to break his march and run all the way to his mother's front door. But onward he marches, marching home, finally marching home. He has only 10 days leave, and there are so many people he wants to see. And while he loves his parents, his grandparents, his brothers and sisters, and aunts and uncles and cousins, Joe is especially excited to see a special someone. Her name is Yvonne. She's his fiancée. And every time he thinks of her, he wants to sing. Noticing how late it's gotten, Joe stops by a stream to make camp and pulls out a little brown fiddle. He just bought it. He's rusty. And the violin is an unforgiving instrument, but his fingers gain fluidity and he can conjure the face of his beloved as he fiddles. Someone's out there in the shadows, watching Joe. It's the devil, disguised as a powerful businessman. He taps Joe on the shoulder. "Young man, give me your fiddle." No? Then sell it to me." No. "Some violin lessons, perhaps." You don't look like much of a musician." "Oh, musicians love me. I'm huge with musicians. And I also know the art of a good deal. What if I trade you that violin for this book I wrote?" "What's a book to me?" "Oh, don't be so quick to say no. This book I have, it can tell you the future. It'll make you wealthy beyond your wildest dreams in every way imaginable. Just give it a look. Women, money, power. You can have it all. Just say yes." You're gonna have to show it to me first." "Well, I absolutely agree, of course." This man is convincing as a car salesman, but Joe thinks of his family and he refuses again. Sir, if that book is worth all that much, my fiddle only cost me $10. "Well, how about that for being honest? I will reward you for that. I'm giving you a very good deal. Come on, it really amounts to a steal. Say yes. Come on, don't let this pass you by." "Well, if it means that much to you, old man, okay, give me the book. Let's see. Financial terms, collaterals, exchange rates, market quotations for Sunday the 6th. What? Wait, this is Saturday. This is Saturday the 5th. This is a book that quotes things in advance. This is a book of things ahead of time. Strange. Why don't you come back home with me? How about it?" What for?" "I don't know how to play this violin. You give me 2 or 3 lessons? I'll get you back in no time." "Well, where the hell do you live?" I see what you did there. "It's on the way. It won't be far." It's just that I've only got 10 days leave. It's only 10 days. I'll hardly take you out of your way. And I've got a private jet that can take us straight there. My mother will get worried if I don't come home? It won't be the first time you've worried her. You'll put me up? Oh, I'll put you up. I'll pamper you. I'll make you feel like new. And I'll return you then in my private jet. Just 2 or 3 days, a little out of your way, and you'll be rich all the rest of your days. Well, the trip was everything he promised. The soldier followed the businessman to his luxurious home, and Joe smoked and ate and drank and was pampered like he'd never been before. He taught the man to fiddle as the book was taught to him. The 2 days were well worth the detour. After all, Joe thought, I'll be able to afford the finest fiddle in the world with help from this new magic book. Down a hot and dusty track comes the soldier with his pack. He has to spend. Will his journey never end? Marching on his way. But soon, very soon, he'll be home to stay. After 3 days' luxurious leave, our soldier returns to his hometown. Hooray! I'm here at last! I'm home! Hello, Mrs. Chapman! How are you? She doesn't hear me. Hey, Louie! It's my old friend Louie. Hey! What's the matter? Don't you recognize your old friend? It's Joseph, the soldier. You remember? I guess he doesn't. Well, here's my old high school, and there's the playground. Man, it looks run down. Here's City Hall, here's the bar, and everywhere my people, all my friends. What's the matter? Don't they know me? You must remember me, Joe Dupree. One door slams, and then another, and another, and another again. They're old and rusty. All those rusty doors squeaking shut. He's thinking of his mother, but she sees him coming and runs from him screaming. He thinks, well, at least there's Yvonne, there's my fiancée, and there she is, with her husband and her 2 children. I return from the front lines to this hell. You devil. You damn devil. I know who you are now. I understand. It took me long enough, but now I see the date right here on my phone. It wasn't 3 days. 3 years have passed. These people take me for a ghost, a zombie, undead. You devil, you damn devil. Like a fool, I listened to him. I was starving, it's true. I was exhausted, but that's no reason to listen to him. My mother always told me not to listen to strangers. She said to say, I don't know you. But what did I do? I listened to him. So Joe turns to the only thing he can think of for help, his future-telling book. He reads the book. He throws himself into becoming a successful salesman. The result? Money. Lots and lots of money. I use others as I feel like it, because they're trapped in the present, whereas I know for certain they only speculate. He tries to be happy, and some days he succeeds. Sometimes he goes for a walk in the middle of the day, like this afternoon. It's a lovely day in September. See the cardinal there in the tree? I have so many things, but there's something missing. What could it be? Everyone has so much love, but not me. All my money is for nothing. My fiddle was only worth $10, but it was priceless. Satan, I was cheated by you. How can I escape? What can I do? What can I do? Does it say in the book? Of course it doesn't say in the book. Well, one day, a woman about his age walks into his shop carrying a violin. She is beautiful, and he is so lonely. Hey, beautiful. See anything you like? Anything at all? She is unimpressed. Joe, ask her if you can play violin for her. Oh, wait, you sold yours. Ask if you can play hers. Ma'am, do you mind if do not reach out for her like that. She'll think you're a creep. Too late. She's gone. Well done. At least she left her fiddle. There's your consolation prize. Oh, now look what I've done. The first pretty girl to look at me in years, and I blew it. And it's all your fault. It's the fault of this book. I'll rip it to shreds. I'll burn it, and then I'll burn the devil, too. He thinks he can own me. I'll show him. Joe thinks that destroying the book will help. Well, with each page that burns, his shoulders do seem to lighten, I suppose. But there's the devil lurking in the shadows, smirking, and holding Joe's little brown fiddle securely in his hands. Where do we find our lost friend Joe now? He used to be a soldier, then a salesman, and now he's not sure what he is, except a regular at the local dive bar. But it's there that he hears about a very interesting opportunity. A few neighborhoods over, there's a very beautiful and very wealthy young woman named Gwyn. She has fallen mysteriously ill. She will not eat, she will not drink, she will not speak to anyone. They say her family is devastated and will do anything to help her recover. Joe decides to pack up his shop and head off to see if he can help. And if she or her family want to thank him with a reward, well, wouldn't that be convenient too? As he travels, he dreams of a new life, a chance to start over, a chance to help, a chance to do something meaningful with his life. But there, lurking in the shadows, is the devil, in white tie and tails, playing a tune on Joe's violin. You clever bastard! Just one thing, pal. You got here after me, and I'm the one who's gonna cure the beautiful girl with this. It's a fiddle that I have that used to belong to you. Buddy, you are lost. Just as the devil and the soldier are about to come to blows, two large doors open and we see Gwyn sitting in a regal wingback chair. She is clearly not well, but carries herself with the grace of a queen. Hello, gentlemen. Hello, mademoiselle. Hi, ma'am. So, you are the two suitors my father has sent me, an unimpressive lot. But you both have violins. Play me a concert. Give it your best shot. The regal Gwyn is charmed by them both. But it's the soldier's music that captures her heart, her soul. You know, I used to play an instrument too. The viola. No viola jokes. It ruined my wrists. I couldn't play for a while. But there's my viola right next to my chair. Would you like to play with me? Yes, ma'am, I would. And what about me, mademoiselle? You can go to hell. Lady, if you only knew. Joe, maybe we could play a tango? And then maybe a waltz? A tango, a waltz, a ragtime? Anything for... What was your name again? Joe. Well then, Joe, let us tango. Gwen and Joe, Joe and Gwen, we just might find our happily ever after again. The lovers are embracing, the devil is beaten. What more could there be? Just hold on a second. Okay, they may win for now, but in this tiny realm, I vow, whoever steps outside its lands will fall at once into my hands. 1 foot beyond the border, permitted. 1 false step, and I'll take them straight below, where they will roast alive. You've heard my warning. The devil leaves Gwen's home with Joe's violin. The new lovers barely notice. The devil's words are terrifying, but they're safe. For now, they will be safe if they stay within the city limits. Their love, they hope, will be enough. After 5 summers, 5 autumns, 5 winters, and 5 springs, the devil's warning starts to lose its sting. Joe feels that familiar tug at his gut, and he thinks that his life is in a bit of a rut. Even outside of the devil's reach, the systems of oppression that surround him have left Joe feeling lost, frustrated, and alone. It doesn't matter that he's surrounded by true love and abundance. If you can't heal the wounds of your past, you'll never find peace in the present. So long ago and far away, the time when I was a soldier. And before that, at my mother's, at my home. What if I could go there? It's forbidden, but I could come and go quickly. No one would have to know. Joe loves Gwyn and their family and their home together, but his past haunts him. He misses his mother, his neighborhood, his childhood home. His longing begins to erase the power of the devil's warning. And we all know no good can come from that. She can see her restless, angry, depressed soldier, and she can't let him leave without trying. Joe, Joseph, my partner and my love, whatever life gives us, whatever our fate, we have to have gratitude for the things that we have and choose joy with the ones that we love. Please do not go on this journey. The devil warned us, if we leave the city limits, we will roast alive. But the soldier has spent so much time running from his past, from his pain. He cannot speak of the man he once was, even to the person he loves the most. And so one night, Joe tells Gwyn that he is leaving, with or without her. "Don't cry, my love. I'll be safe. I'll be there and back again before you know it." And Gwyn, seeing the desperate hope on her partner's face, knows that nothing she can say will stop him. She reluctantly kisses him goodbye and watches as he disappears over the horizon. And that's when we see him, lurking in the shadows. Not Joe, but the devil, trying to creep up on her yet again. "I see you," she says. The devil relaxes, tips his hat, and gestures off into the distance where Joe is headed. "He'll never return," the devil says. Gwyn sighs. She doesn't want it to be true, but she feels the devil's honesty in her heart. And so, consoling herself,